Hello, viewers of this channel. Today is sort of a part 2 to the video I made about my relationship with Christianity. So this is the part 2 where I'm talking about Christianity and I guess to a lesser extent Islam in a more broad context and my opinions on it. Like I said in the previous video, if you want to check that out, I am not an expert, I am not a theologian, I will be criticizing both religions in some ways, and we'll be discussing certain political issues in relation to their views of said social and political issues, so if that is not something you enjoy, this video may not be for you. That is your warning. Here we go. Right. I will clarify a few terms. A belief, or I'd say faith, is a trust or idea in something without evidence of it. Actually, I guess it's more faith than a belief, per se. Anyone can have a belief. You can believe in Mother Nature, you can believe in one god, 20 gods, no gods, whatever. You can believe in whatever. Spaghetti monsters, unicorns, whatever. Anyone can have a belief. I want to make that distinction from a religion, though, because religions, Christianity and Islam have this at least, compared to others, is the fact they have certain things. Number one, they have the beliefs in a doctrine or creed of some kind. This, in Christianity, is the Bible, that is the scripture, that is the book, it's an anthology, which means it has multiple books within it, of different stories relating to different poems and songs in which different people have had their relationship with God through trials and tribulations, etc., and also has stories and or rules and or lessons in regards to dietary needs, love, sex, property, slavery, yes, slavery, and even murder, right? Especially murder. In Islam, you have the Quran, written by Muhammad. Now, that's one thing. You have the doctrine. You have some of your foundation, and also both are monotheistic. They believe in one God. Different names for that God, but the one name for God. Now, the second thing both of these have, and differs from just having a belief or trust and faith, is a place of worship and or prayer or congregation. Somewhere people can meet who share these beliefs. In Christianity and its thousands of denominations, you have a church. I guess in Quakerism, you have a meeting house. You would generally have a place, whether this is a massive church or a small church, you have somewhere. As I guess you have a mosque, right? You have a place where believers can congregate. Essential. Third thing you have, which is actually the most important of all, because one thing to have a book and a place of worship, it's people. Because how can a religion persist or exist if you don't have people? Because most places, at least I'll use an example of myself again, churches generally consist of families, teenagers, or even just people who attend whether occasional or otherwise, who will have kids or friends in which they'll be learning scripture and believing this, right? And reciting parts of this religion and living their lives out in accordance. And then you'll have their kids being raised in that. And those kids, when they grow up, will raise their children in that belief system. And then it continues on and on and on and on and on. That's the thing with religions, an organized system of beliefs. They generally have these things in them, opposed to just believing something. Like anyone can believe in something. It's the actions from those beliefs that also matter, though. And the other thing I noticed most religions have is a sense of community. I will say that with one of the many churches I've been to, they have a very good sense of community, because it's not just like going to church. You have Bible studies, you'd have youth groups, you'd have kids clubs, you'd have whatever. You'd have different, you'd have a sense of community, and it'd be the same for people who are Muslim. You might have some areas where a lot of people share the same faith, they'll share the same religious holidays, the same dietary needs, and you have that sense of community. The other thing that I feel is overlooked sometimes, so I've mentioned in the previous video, is identity. It gives a sense of identity and a sense of purpose. You understand what I'm saying? Because the idea of, I am a Christian, I am a Muslim, I am a whatever, you generally have an idea as to what that person's beliefs are. You understand what I'm saying? Generally speaking, you do. Everyone's different, but generally you do. So that's the difference between a religion and a belief. The other reason I believe many people convert, at least to Christianity and Islam, besides particular things within both religions that they like, is, I'd say, 3 or 4 main reasons. One, the most common one, they were raised in it. My mom and dad were Christians. My mom and dad were Muslim. I was brought up in that family. Now, how strict or how lax depends on the people in the family, but to some varying degree, they were raised in that to go to that place of worship, to pray, to whatever, to at least participate in holidays or certain traditions, communions, confirmations, whatever, right? Eid. You'd do these things. And then, because you're raised in them. The second is, assuming, say, you had no religion raised in your household, but if you live in a country that is heavily influenced by a particular religion, we'll say Christianity or Catholicism, since I live in Ireland, or Islam, if you live in Turkey, you would probably start to be influenced and taught from that culture and or society, even if you weren't raised in it yourself. So you'll start to get your sense of morality and understanding of the world and how to live from that culture that is influenced by that religion, and if it's common practice. The third, I find, is people who've turned to religion and or faith because they're going through some sort of a crisis, whether it's a crisis of faith, whether, very serious ones, drugs, alcohol, domestic abuse. It could even just be somebody died and you're struggling, or you don't know how to reconcile your faith with your sexuality, things like that. And some people, because they're going through a rough end, whether they're hardened believers or not, when you don't have family and you don't have friends, what's the one thing you can turn to? God. That is up there. Especially if you're going through rough and you have nothing else to rely on. Now, I've just explained a lot of reasons why I believe people become said thing and or how they form. I mean, you can have lesser reasons like, oh, my friend invited me to learn more about their religion and I converted, or they get married. I guess it's more like, calm, explanation. But generally, I'd say a lot more people fall into those categories. And the reason why I think at least Christianity and Islam appeal, possibly for different reasons, is at least Christianity, if I'm to give my opinion, especially the more Protestant, New Age-ish type of Christianity, would be number one, it's universal. Anyone can be a Christian. The idea of, yes, you are a sinner and you've done bad things, but if you follow a life like Jesus Christ and live like him and pray and believe in God Almighty, your Father in heaven, and you live the best Christian life, ideally, you'd go to heaven and spend eternity with him at the right-hand side. To be honest, some idea in Islam wouldn't be it as well. Yes, is a lot more appealing and hopeful and gives purpose and identity than the idea of there is no God, there is no meaning to life, there is no meaning to being human in itself, and there is no purpose. You can kind of understand why, I know it's not a fair dichotomy, why some people that might appeal more to some people, especially the idea of you don't need to fill out a certain criterion to be Christian. It's like, you don't have to be like this, sign your ticket and go. It's all that. For some things, like one thing I find very interesting about a lot of people who follow Islam is their dedication to their faith, their willingness to pray, and the giving to charity. I know you could argue the same with Christianity, but that's one of the things I'd say that was beautiful with Islam is it's giving to charity and those lesser than yourself. They're the things that appeal to me about each of them. Now, I will also say, is there good things that have come as a result of people who are either religious or because of religious teaching that have happened? Yes, I won't lie. The Catholic Church, if I'm to use it as an example, and a lot of Christian institutions have built schools, have built hospitals, have kind of performed a sort of social care role when in a particular country, say if the government weren't there to help out, or even the government funds it in some cases, they've had that role establishing churches, establishing schools. Heck, some people often, when they're robustly defending, Catholicism or Christianity. I was like, well, look, we've had people who've done loads of charity work, Mother Teresa, you have good people like the Pope. I mean, I don't really understand the purpose of having a Pope, but that's a different debate. The Pope's done loads of things, a lot of charities, or even the fact that, we had notable people who were religious who made scientific breakthroughs, like Georges Lemaitre. I don't speak French, so forgive me if I've messed up his name. He was a Catholic priest who came up sort of with the Big Bang Theory. Or Gregor Mendel, who, if y'all studying biology, y'all know him, the law of segregation. Even Isaac Newton, Anglican, though I know people argue about their beliefs. And so on and so forth. I could keep going, but you get the gist, It's had, in some ways, a positive impact on the world, at least depending what part of the world you live in. They've established a lot of things, an emphasis on family and charity, etc. Islam, there's a lot of Muslims who've made, during, obviously the Islamic Gold Age, the House of Baghdad, the period where there was knowledge, information being learnt and being studied and taught during this time whilst Europe was kind of going through its dark ages. This is almost that Islamic Gold Age. These regions where Islam was predominant in, like Iraq, it's the first place agriculture started. There's so much history there that I would get into, but we'd be here for the next hour. They've both had their impact on the world, positively and or negatively. However, me sitting here praising all the Christian Muslims out there who've done good works, I'm also not going to sit here and refer to, when I say Islam and Christianity, the institutions, not the 1.6 followers of Islam, nor the 2 billion followers of Christianity and 1.2 billion Catholics out of that 2 billion. I am referring to the institutions and the thing itself, not the people. Now, am I going to sit there and say, it's been so great and perfect to the world would be terrible without it? No, that would be lying. For example, one of the issues that always bothered me was, I'm going to just use the Catholic Church as an example because I live here in Ireland and it's the most prominent church. The Catholic Church's treatment historically in different countries of the LGBT plus community, gay, lesbians, bisexuals, trans folks that are out there, it hasn't been great, lads. I mean, in a place like Uganda, which is predominantly Catholic, you have these laws that basically criminalize being gay. And look, I'm not sitting here saying, oh, you have to think homosexuality is completely moral, or you have to be out here waving the rainbow flag like it's no tomorrow. But the idea of criminalizing and making somebody else's life harder for them based on your view of how the world's meant to work, is that not a bit controlling? Just saying. Because you're basing it on the parts in scripture. I guess, yes, it does say it in Leviticus about stoning gay folks to death, though most Christians do not adhere to that anymore. They adhere more to the New Testament, which is still defined as a sin. It's a long theological debate when it comes to homosexuality and the Christian Bible, even within Christianity. To even, though maybe not the best example, here in Ireland, though not as Catholic, depending on who you ask, as it used to be, and there was gay, lesbian, bisexual people in Ireland, by the way, even beforehand, when it was a crime, wasn't decriminalized till 1993. Also, if I'm to use another example, our constitution, Bunacht na Heron, being written back in 1937, when Eamon de Valera was writing it, most of Ireland at the time was predominantly Catholic. The Catholic Church had heavy influence. Every town, village, even the ones in the middle and nowhere, had a church. Seriously, I've been to a village, it had 2 churches, but no secondary school. What is up with that? Anyway, it was very important role in society and culture, at least during that time. Not as much now. When he wrote this, he had the aid of Archbishop McQuaid. That's pretty high ranking up in the church. So a lot of the laws and rules were kind of influenced by Catholic teaching. Never became a state religion, but it was pretty influential. That was a reason why from the 1920s and definitely until the 80s, 79, artificial contraceptive was illegal in Ireland. Yes, people used to go to the north to get it. People had their ways. Because of the Catholic Church's stance on contraceptives. But it matters in countries that are poor, third world, and have high rates of HIV and the Catholic Church is teaching them, no, don't use contraceptives, even though contraceptives could be a way of actually curbing this, because people would be protected. Even our laws regarding divorce, obviously there was referendums and debates about it back in the 80s as well. It didn't officially, the prohibition on it didn't get removed until 1995. Hey, I looked this up and it's on my parents' divorce paper. That's actually what it said. The other thing is, I already mentioned homosexuality not being decriminalized until 1993. And admittedly, yes, there was gay people out there, but, you know, the fact it was a crime up until now, until 25 years ago, is a bit, like, odd if you think about it. And some people would argue, I'm not trying to start a debate about it, everyone has their own belief about it. Some people would say, also, because of the Catholic influence on our Constitution, the Eighth Amendment, which we had a referendum on last year in regards to the rights of the unborn child are equal to the mother, was very controversial. Because, obviously, abortion is a very controversial issue. Which I can't lie and say the Catholic Church has no influence on that. We know their stance. It's been the same for years. It's dogma. And also, the influence the Catholic Church had, a lot of people were abused physically, emotionally, or sexually by people who were in pastoral care, be it priests, nuns, other leaders in the church, bishops, etc. Obviously, a lot of this only started to get exposed now, and I'm aware it wasn't just in Ireland, it was in other countries, but that heavily, obviously, dented, I guess, people's faith in the church, adherence to the church, or even listening to them as some sort of moral guide. So in some ways, I have to be like, it's pretty negative. Also, sorry, another thing I forgot to mention, marital rape wasn't a crime in Ireland until 1990, which to some people, how is that relating to religion? I was like, well, there is an Old Testament verse that technically can justify it, but not jumping into that. That wasn't a crime till 1990. Just saying. Anyways, that's like negative things I've pretty much listed because of heavy influence of Catholicism that, depending on your point of view, generally had a negative impact. Now, Islam, which I'm aware it's quite hard to discuss this given our current political climate, and there's going to be believers who hate me for criticizing it, there's going to be people who hate me for not criticizing it enough, and there's going to be people being like, you don't know what you're talking about, right? I am not going to say Islam's a religion of peace, I love Islam, blah de blah, or nor I'm going to say it's destroying Western culture. It's another world religion to me. I don't love it any more or less in a lot of ways. It is also relatively anti-LGBT, if I'm just going purely by scripture, it is a relatively anti-LGBT scripture, rather violent and not pacifistic in the least bit. No one's like claiming it's a pacifistic religion, but I'm just saying for me, somebody who's more socially progressive, relatively supportive of LGBT rights, I can't sit here and be like, I hate Christianity and then give Islam all the praise. They're both they're pretty messed up in that regard. And currently in a lot of countries that are Islamic theocracies, meaning the religion is state law almost, is the state law. That is worrying. Yes, I'm looking at you, Saudi Arabia. Your treatment of LGBT people, terrible, terrible, terrible. And I am aware people live in a different country, it's their culture, it's their right to determine, how they treat people. Still doesn't make the morality of criminalizing people, allowing it to be a law to be stoned to death, or discriminating against them when it comes to jobs or life or things like that, ain't a good thing on the basis of what it says in your scriptures. I'm just saying. I cannot deny this. That's where they're getting the basis of their homophobia, for lack of a better description. Also, though this is slightly off topic, when people say homophobia, I'm not saying the person has to be causing you physical harm. They could just be calling you rude names or slurs. Heck, they don't even necessarily need to call you names and slurs. They'll put it in such a way, they're like, oh, I don't hate them, I just think it shouldn't be allowed because of X, Y, and Z. And I'm talking about decriminalizing it. I'm not even talking about legal issues regards to marriage, revenue, or any of that other stuff. Anyways, back to the point about these two religions. I can't defend Islam when it comes to those two things. However, if anyone was Christian and Muslim and being bullied for it like anyone else, I'd be their first thing in defending them, be like, hey, don't fuck with my friend. And I am aware there is a certain group of people that will hate certain brown-skinned individuals who are Muslim or could be perceived as Muslim, and they will give you hate irregardless. This is where the racial element of Islamophobia comes in. I know I'm going really off chart, which is annoying given like there is Black Christians, Asian Christians, white Christians, etc. Like, do people not realize there is white Muslims out there too, Asian Muslims, etc., etc.? I don't get this association of them just being brown folks, but again, off topic. See, there is a distinction. It's like when people say, people who are Sikh, right, or even regular peaceful Muslims, and people see them and perceive them as a threat, even though Sikhism isn't the same root as Islam in any way, shape, or form, but because they're brown and they're wearing a turban, ooh, they're scary. It's irrational. Anyways, getting back into discussion of Christianity and Islam. Like I said, because I think they're socially constructed, they're going to have flaws, because people are flawed. And I guess that's the truth. At the end of the day, it is a coping mechanism to deal with the fact of we don't 100% know what happens at the end of the road. Or some of us claim to know or have faith that it will happen, but we don't have certainty. Anyways, that's all I was going to say. Thank you for watching this long tangent, and I will probably put this video also on SoundCloud to anyone who's also listening. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have any comments or disagreements with what I've said, put them in the comment below, etc. Thank you very much.